She lied about why she was here, tax fraud, she said, like it was no big deal, but she was the devil. The first time I met Natalie, she was lying about why she wasn't here, tax fraud, she said, like it was no big deal, just some paperwork screw up with the IRS that landed her ass in a women's lockup. I'd been inside for about 6 months by then, busted for boosting cars with my dumbass ex-and. The routine had settled in like a bad habit. Wake up to the buzzer, shuffle to chow, stare at the walls during rack time, repeat. The place wasn't some horror movie set, but it wasn't a spa either. Fights broke out over nothing, like who hogged the phone too long, and the air always smelled like bleach and stale cigarettes smuggled from God knows where. It was one of those gray mornings in the block where the rain hammered the windows so hard you could barely hear the breakfast trays clanging. Natalie got processed in right before lunch. She was mid-40s, maybe, with that polished look that screamed suburbs, blonde hair pulled back tight, no visible tats, jeans and a sweater that looked straight out of a catalog. The screws marched her down the tier, and she kept her head down, mumbling hellos to a couple of the regulars. By dinner, word had spread. A few of us chuckled hell. It beat the usual meth charges or dues. She fit right in at first, chatting about recipes and complaining about the food like everyone else. Even shared a pack of gum sheets snuck past intake. 2 days later, shit hit the fan. It started in the showers after evening lockup. I was drying off, towel wrapped around me, when I heard the scuffle grunts, a slap, then full-on yelling. By the time I poked my head around the corner, 3 or 4 girls were on her. Mia from the East Wing, that stocky chick with the scar on her cheek, and a couple others whose names I never bothered learning. Natalie was curled up on the tile, arms over her head, blood trickling from her nose. You lying bitch, Mia snarled, landing a kick to her side. The screws burst in quick pepper spray and zip ties, but not before Natalie took a solid beating. Bruises bloomed on her face like ugly flowers, and she limped back to her cell without a word. After that, she ghosted. Didn't come out for meals, didn't join rec, nothing. The screws started sliding trays under her door, like she was on suicide watch or some shit. We'd hear her crying at night, muffled through the vents, but no one went near her cell. Whispers flew around the block. What's her deal? Heard she's a snitch. I kept my head down. Abigail, that's me, by the way. Folks just call me Abby in here. Didn't want to get dragged into whatever drama, but curiosity gnawed at you in a place. Like that, days turned into a week, and Natalie got thinner, paler, like a shadow behind her bars. Eventually, they shipped her out quiet like in the middle of the night. No goodbye, no drama. Just gone. It was one of the older screws. Carla, she's the one with the busket and the no bullshit stare who spilled the beans a couple nights later. We were mopping the common area. Radio's crackling with some bullshit pop station when she leaned on her mop and lit a smoke. Y'all hear about the new one? She said, voice low like she was sharing state secrets. We all froze, pretending not to listen. Turns out Natalie wasn't dodging taxes. She and her husband Robert, plus their grown son Daniel, had been running a Kyle, the porn ring out of their basement for years. The guys got dumped straight into the VP wing over at the men's joint protective custody, no questions asked. But our side, women's prisons don't have enough sex offenders to warrant a whole segregated block, so they stuck her in general pop. Carla didn't sugarcoat it. Natalie was neck-deep full partner, not some side player. She'd been the one acquiring the kids, using her job at a daycare or some trust she built with families to get close, trusted indie vibe, you know? The offenses were the kind that make your stomach turn. Videos, photos, the works, and the kicker, the youngest victim, her own niece's 3-month-old baby girl. Little thing got hurt so bad during one of their sessions she ended up in the hospital for weeks.